everybody. Welcome to the Have You Ever Played podcast, the only podcast that's perfect first try every time. I'm I'm Matt, aka Matt Fun Dude, and I'm with my co-host.
I'm James, aka James04E.
And we totally didn't do a test recording a second ago and had a completely different intro. Don't worry about
Yes,
it.
that intro will
Um,
be forever lost to time. You'll never hear it.
yeah, it was the best intro of all time
Yeah, it
too.
was like the
So you really
greatest.
missed out.
I really feel bad for anybody that didn't hear it. Actually, it's like a once in a lifetime experience.
So James, jumping right into our weeks, completely unrelated to the old intro. I've been playing Elden Ring still, and a lot of it. Have you
hmm
also been playing a lot of Elden Ring still?
A little less this week, but I did still play quite a bit.
hmm That has been my main game that I've been playing as of currently, and man, it's still like I played it at launch for 60 hours, got a little bored of it
hmm
because I didn't like my build. Um, but they're going back and playing the game. Even having played that whole early game part, I'm still thoroughly enjoying it as if it was my first time playing it.
hmm
The replayability is great in that game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I decided to do a whole. I'm doing an int strength build now. I just
Ooh.
minor spoilers for Elden Ring boss names. I just felled Radon,
Ooh.
and I now have his scourged sword, which I want to use for my build
hmm
because it is a sword. When you two hand the sword, you take out another sword, and then you have two swords, which you can do normally by having two weapons. But this weapon specifically is always like power stance. It's just
hmm
kind of neat. Yeah, so I'm thoroughly enjoying my time playing that game now.
Yeah, for me, I didn't make too much progress this week. I mainly went around doing caves because I was very underleveled. Still doing my strength build. I'm having an identity crisis. I don't know what I want to do with it. 'Cause I don't know if I want to I don't know if I want to put like a ton of points into like endurance so I can actually wear my armor without fat rolling, or if I just want to do like normal stuff like I don't know, just focus more on vitality and strength so that I can just whack people.
What weapon are you using right now?
The giant crusher.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say, and are you specking into faith or int at all?
No, not really.
I would say from someone who did a pure strength build, I think if you want to add spice to your build, you could either spec into int or faith. I think int has a lot of cool options.
hmm
Or you could go full in, get enough strength to power stance, so you can um, power stance two random weapons together. That way, when you do your heavy swings, you're hitting with two weapons and you do a ton of damage, and it's really
hmm
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, I did see one build where like this guy had two giant crushers.
It doesn't even need to be the
That
same
looked cool.
weapon. I think maybe it's the same weapon type, or I don't even know if that matters because I was
hmm
using two like club things at one point.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
one of those hidden things.
I don't know. I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll struggle and just keep whacking away while the bosses do their endless combos that kill me.
Yeah, it's weird. I've been having a little bit easier of a time with some of the bosses this playthrough.
hmm
I know they actually nerfed some bosses, like General Radon got nerfed. Like there has been some balance changes since I played at
Yeah.
launch, and also things like I don't think NPCs were marked on your map when the game launched. Now they
hmm
are, which is insanely convenient. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of good changes like that.
Yeah. I think with my experience so far being underleveled, I do think that compared to other Souls games, it's a little harder to just go to one side area and say like I'm fine. I can do the main stuff now.
hmm
Because it's lots of like dungeons and more spread out stuff, and so some of the side bosses are hidden behind these like quest lines and stuff. Like you won't just find them in the world all the time. Like I remember I got this one dragon in the west part of Liurnia to like half health, and it teleported somewhere, and I'm like, wait, where did it go? And then I went to the place that the wiki said it teleported to, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's like, oh, you have to be here at night. I'm like, well, what?
Yeah, there was a random field enemy called like it was like some bone bird. I forget what it was called. It might have been called like Bird of Death or something, and it
Hmm.
just appeared at night in like Liurnia, and I'm like, oh, cool, okay. Just
Yeah.
random field bosses. Shouts to Tibia Mariner, one of the greatest field bosses in that game, who appears like 6 times in that game. Are you familiar with Tibia Mariner?
Uh, I might. I need to
It's
check.
it's a skeleton in a boat that goes
Oh
around.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I fought him twice.
Yeah, I've seen him at least 3 times. Um, Tibia Mariner is such a good name for an enemy.
Yeah, it's so
Bone
fun.
Sailor.
Yeah, I think I fought like the first one that just did all the normal attacks, and I fought the second one that had it like summoned the giant skeleton or whatever, and like
Hmm.
started whacking me. And it was on like a mountain too, so we kept going up the mountain, and eventually we just weren't in water anymore. And I'm like, well, this doesn't thematically make sense. You're on a boat, just cruising on the land.
Tibia Mariner makes his own water. Okay, he makes his own
Yeah,
waves.
definitely.
Yeah, no, there are some reused bosses in that game, uh, and some of them that I really don't like.
Hmm.
They're like there's a enemy near Volcano Manor, and it's also in I think Gale Tunnel has this boss where it's like a bull or like a cow that has like magma or something. It like spits lava and does all this crazy stuff.
Hmm.
That is such an annoying boss. If you, it's one of those bosses where it almost feels like you're not supposed to fight it at a fair point in the game.
Yeah.
I if you understand what I'm saying,
Yeah,
where
I know what you mean. You're
yeah,
supposed to come back when you're like over leveled or something.
it does feel like that in Elden Ring. Outside of the main progression story quest bosses, that certain bosses like in the dungeons are meant to be you're either stomping them or you're going to get stomped. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel necessarily like a good fair fight.
Yeah, like I this week I fought one of the watchdogs, the magic one, and like those bosses are kind of weird. The attacks are at really weird intervals, and it kind of feels like a stat check at sometimes. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad at it.
Yeah, I think this game, and we had a conversation about this on a prior podcast, but I think they love to do enemies that make you wait. They have a lot of
Yeah.
anticipation. They just will wind up an attack for 20 minutes to bait you into rolling, and then they hit you. And that seems to be like 90% of the bosses in this game have an
Hmm.
attack like that. And now that I kind of am looking for it, I'm almost having an easier go this time because I'm
Yeah.
waiting longer than just trying to roll. Where like a game like maybe like I don't know. Do you remember if Bloodborne was like more roll heavy in terms of bosses being quick to attack you?
In Bloodborne, yeah, the attacks were much faster, and the idea was like you weaved in lots of attacks between their attacks, and also parrying was more important.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think as far as like fight pacing, Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3 are probably my favorite ones to play, but I think Dark Souls 3 had its own issues that I think Elden Ring doesn't necessarily share. So
Yeah, like Dark Souls 1 through 3 are all kind of different. Like Dark Souls 1 is kind of slower. The enemies will be really slow and commit to an attack, and you can kind of walk around it.
mhm.
Um, Dark Souls 2 introduced tracking, which is so stupid and bad and terrible. Every enemy that's large, like Smelter Demon or something, every large enemy that looks like they should be slow will completely spin 360 degrees and then slap you with their attack, and it's
Mhm.
stupid. And then I think 3 is kind of a balance between 1 and 2
Yeah.
in terms of what they did for tracking.
Yeah, I don't know. I just still need to get used to the lengths of openings and stuff like that in Elden Ring. Like I feel like I have a much harder time being aggressive against these bosses and like rolling into their attacks and stuff like that to like punish them because it feels like it's weird. I've always known that Dark Souls has been a little bit about memorizing move sets and things like that. But I also think that before they were a little more reactable to the point where it felt a lot more possible to first try them. Not that it's
Mhm.
not possible anymore, but it feels like especially with my build having me heavy rolling, that I'm just far less likely to first try the bosses.
Oh, you're heavy rolling right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's tough. That you're probably gonna want to be at least at a medium.
yeah, I did switch my armor to just like some random assortment of medium roll stuff. I don't know,
Yeah,
like yeah, maybe they want you to be one of those guys who runs around with no armor but has a really heavy weapon or something to use something like the giant crusher.
that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Also,
Yeah,
pardon the dog in the background if you hear
the
that on the
Doge.
recording. Um, I think someone just arrived, but anyway, yeah, the heavy weapons thing with the armor with rolling, I think you really need to be mobile, and
Yeah.
I've really incorporated jumping a lot more into combat. I didn't realize how important jumping was. There's a
Mhm.
lot of moves you can avoid by jumping, like
Yeah.
a lot of shockwave moves that I didn't realize you were supposed
Mhm.
to jump when I first played the game. And you can jump over like tail swipes and stuff. Like you really
Yeah.
are incentivized to use jumping a lot more. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've tried to use it a little bit more. I did play Sekiro. I didn't finish it, but like I'm used to the game literally telling me like, yeah, you're supposed to jump this attack cuz Sekiro literally had like indicators and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
Um it's weird. Like it goes back to the whole thing that people say a lot where it's like bosses are playing Sekiro but you're playing Dark Souls. But I also don't think you don't quite get the same feedback in this game in Sekiro, so it's a little bit harder to incorporate jumps, at least for me. Like with those big charge up shockwave attacks, it's a little more obvious, but for some of the sweeps, it's harder to read.
Yeah, I think I just find myself jumping a lot. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe you could implement jumping R2 if you're using heavy weapons. That was
Yeah.
kind of what I had to use a lot when I played a strength build.
Hmm.
I would jump attack a lot in Souls games in general, and now that it's dedicated to a button, I'm constantly jumping and attacking.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, I really think that jumping is probably one of the biggest and important changes in this game because it just
Hmm.
adds so much to the exploration and in dungeons and where you can actually
Yeah.
go. And it is really crazy how big this game feels and the amount of secrets that you can stumble across. And did you know there's illusionary walls and
Yeah.
apparently there's illusionary floors in certain areas too,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know some of them lead down to like caves and stuff like that, or just like straight up bosses.
which is insane. And
Yeah.
I remember doing a dungeon, then going to a secret way and then fighting a separate second boss in the dungeon
Hmm.
that was just like an alternate path. And there's just so much stuff like that that makes it so replayable.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that we're both like a decent amount in the game, I actually wanted to ask about something that I think I might have an unpopular opinion on. What do you think of the horse?
Um okay, so the horse, I think we'll probably have the same opinion maybe. Is I think Torrent the horse uh is cool for getting around some of the open world where nothing's going on, but also kind of invalidates giant portions of these little bases that are kind of set up. Like there is
Hmm.
roadblocks set up, and it feels as though it's like, oh, maybe I should get out and fight here. But half the time, I'm like, well, I'll just get on the horse and run by these enemies. And I am having this weird thing with Elden Ring where I'm kind of running by a lot of enemies, and the only times I get souls are really from bosses, and I don't
Hmm.
ever really fight the basic enemies because it's so easy to just avoid them. I don't know if
Yeah.
you feel the same way.
Yeah, I've felt that in Dark Souls in general, usually, where it's like there's usually so many basic enemies that you can't realistically fight them all and then like get to a boss and like fight it or something like that. I think that that's a problem that FromSoft is aware of. I don't even know if it's necessarily a problem. There are some cases where they're enemies that you're blatantly like 100% supposed to avoid, like crap, I don't remember what the area was called, but the area before you fight the draconic tree sentinel, like when you're going up the stairs and this guy just flies down at you.
Oh, is it the where the bestial sanctum thing is?
I think so.
There's a big like guy who shoots like lightning and stuff. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
a church is, and there's an NPC.
Yeah.
It could honestly, what we're saying could apply to multiple areas in the
Yeah,
game,
probably.
and
Maybe could be.
But
But
yeah, I get
the
the idea.
same point, like, an enemy randomly flies at you that's not a boss, and you hit them once, and you realize, wow, I do like 1/1000th of their health bar. I probably shouldn't be here.
Oh, the scariest thing in Elden Ring is when you hit an enemy and the boss health bar doesn't even appear and you do 1 damage, it's just a regular enemy health bar, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
It's not even a boss."
Some of these enemies are stronger than bosses. It's insane.
Well, also, when you start riding out from the beginning of the game, you'll be fighting some enemies that are bosses in the dungeons, and then
Hmm.
as soon as, like, the 3rd area of the game, some of the bosses are just field enemies now, and I'm like, "Oh god."
Yeah,
It's
like I
the X
remember.
like, oh, it's so fast to get
I think
there.
it was Margit at one point randomly just like appeared again. It was really, I was really confused. I'm like, wait, this guy's actually stronger. What is happening? Like I'm actually losing.
Oh, man. This
Like I had
game
to
is
use all my
yeah.
flasks to beat it.
It's funny, I'm, like, a big spoiler guy in terms of, "Oh, I don't wanna know spoilers for games." And I was like that a little bit with Elden Ring, and the more I really learn about Elden Ring, the less I seem to care about spoilers. Because 'cause I've
Mhm.
heard people talk about things like names of enemies and bosses and stuff, and it's funny because it's like, I have no context for this, like, you're not gonna spoil the story for
Yeah,
me, really. Um, I'm trying to do the side quests right now, which would be incomprehensible without a guide, to be honest.
yeah. The side
Some of the
quests, and that's one thing I think FromSoft still needs to work on a bit. I understand how they want side quests to feel like very natural. Like it's like I find this person, they're like, I need you to bring me this thing. You bring them the thing, and then naturally, like, oh, you go back, they're not there. While I continue through the game, oh, they're here now. But in reality, I think it is a little too confusing at times.
So it is by design to I think their quest philosophy is stumble upon something and make every playthrough feel kind of unique
Yeah.
because I in Dark Souls 3 I was probably one of the few people who accidentally hit every perfect uh you need to hit a bunch of certain parameters to get patches to spawn and do a cutscene and then throw you off a bridge. And I
Hmm.
got that the first time I played the game, not knowing that you needed to do all these XYZ parameters for that to even show up in your game. And I
Hmm.
tried to do that intentionally on following playthroughs and couldn't get it to work. So yeah, there's
Hmm.
weird confusion, but I at least think Elden Ring, from looking at guides to do the quests, when I didn't know how the quests were structured and it was like going into the game for the first time, it seems impossible to ever find these NPCs again.
Yeah.
But using the guide, they do actually congregate to places that players probably will go.
Yeah.
And you will naturally find a lot of the side quests. You might not see every part of the side quest, but
Hmm.
something that I noticed in Elden Ring is if you miss a part of a person's side quest, sometimes they'll just skip ahead and warp
Yeah.
to their next side quest point,
Yeah.
so
Like
you
there's
don't
fail
miss them.
safes. Yeah. I
Yeah,
I did
like
actually notice that
mhm.
when I was doing I think it was Raya's quest to get to like Volcano Manor. Uh, and I also did the quest that Patches gave me to like kill this guy to get the bull goat armor, which I then found out I don't even want because it's too heavy. But yeah, I found that was actually very natural, and I actually looked up how the quest worked, and there's like so many. There's like 4 areas or something where Raya can appear in depending on your progress in the game.
Yeah, I didn't realize. So when I first played Elden Ring, and I'm so glad I'm replaying this game, because my first playthrough, I did the thing that people said they would do for Breath of the Wild, and do you know how Nintendo was like, you can go straight to Ganon if you want to,
Hmm.
and I did that in Breath of the Wild as well. I just was like, I'm gonna go to the final area just because you can, and I did that in Elden Ring, where it's like, I'm gonna go really, really far. I'm gonna literally go to the Atlas Plateau before
Hmm.
fighting the first boss of the game. So I did that.
Jesus.
I didn't realize how detrimental that would be because when I played this game, pretty much in the intended way, I would say, I think they have a way they want you to play the game, like an order of what places they want you to go.
Hmm.
And you can kind of determine that based on the materials you're getting and the difficulty of the enemies.
Yeah.
Um, I think that they put a million NPCs in your direct line of sight, and they put a bunch of key items directly in front of you, so you can't miss them
Yeah.
if you follow the way they want you to play the game and explore. Um, I on my subs on this playthrough, I've met maybe like 7 NPCs or something that I did not see at all in the first time I played, being
Hmm.
things like the prawn seller man, the man who sells boiled prawns.
Hmm. Yeah, I
You're
haven't
you're
met that
staring
guy.
blankly at me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't met that guy at all. That sounds crazy though. I want to meet him.
there is a guy in Liurnia, which is I think the lake area, right?
Hmm.
Um, there's an NPC who's just hunched over in a shack, and she's like, "Someone stole my necklace." And then you
Oh wait,
walk over
oh
to
wait,
a
that's
man.
Raya. That's Raya. Actually, I did
Yeah,
meet that guy.
and there's just a man sitting there with prawns in a bucket that he's cooking.
Hmm.
And if you talk to him and befriend him, he sells you prawns that you can just eat.
Okay, yeah, I never befriended him. I just bought the necklace off of him and left. But yeah, yeah, I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah, if you were to keep talking to him, he's just like, "Oh, you're kind of cool. You want to buy some prawns?" And then you buy prawns. I don't know if that's how it even sounds, but
I don't know.
I'm like, man. And then that's why the replayability was so high for me because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be kind of sad. I don't want to start all the way over. I got so far in, and it's not. It's been a joy to replay, and I've been discovering so much stuff that I missed by rushing. So
Hmm.
take your time when you play Elden Ring and really
Yep.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Kind of looping back to the horse thing. I was also thinking, horse combat. How do you feel about that?
It's okay. Horse combat's kind of lame because I don't think you can cast spells on horseback because I tried
Hmm.
and I don't think you can. So you're basically limited to slapping things
Yeah.
with either a heavy attack or a light attack. And I get it. They didn't like they didn't have to program 100,000 different attacks. Imagine it programming unique attacks for every weapon.
Yeah.
For a niche case of using the horse. Um, the horse almost becomes like a crutch on certain things. Like if you fight some of those tree guardians that are way higher level than you, if you just go
Hmm.
on the horse and kind of hit it and run away, you can kind of do that. It's really boring, but it's kind of a viable strategy. I don't
Yeah.
know. It doesn't really feel that fun to do.
Yeah. So I actually agree. I think the horse is very uninteresting to fight on, especially because there are some bosses like the dragons where I think FromSoft is telling you, yeah, you should really be using your horse here, and I'm like, well, I don't want to, because like the way that they move, the gaps that they create, the speeds that they turn when they're breathing fire and stuff like that, you kind of have to be on a horse to realistically work with it, and it feels like what you're actually doing is you run around behind them, hit their legs a little bit. They either do like a spin attack or they fly away. If they fly away, they breathe some fire. Just run around it as a horse, and then you kind of repeat. And I think that it's made the dragon fights a lot less exciting than the other games, in my opinion. Outside of like some unique ones, like oh, I don't remember what his name was, like the lightning dragon that made the lightning like burst out of the ground and stuff. That one was kind of cool. I didn't beat him yet, but his attacks were pretty cool. But yeah, I think that the gameplay loop of fighting dragons is definitely a lot less interesting because of how horse combat works and because they're kind of encouraging it. But I think there's also potential for some of like the bigger bosses where you could have these big spectacles. Like I've seen clips of Radam where you're like running towards him on your horse while he's throwing stuff at you and stuff like that. So it's kind of a double edged sword, I think.
Yeah, I will say the Radon fight sucks and has always sucked and continues to suck even though they nerfed it. It still sucks. It's basically RNG if you do it early in the game.
Yeah.
So you haven't actually fought Radon yet?
No, not yet. I'm still doing side stuff to get to be on level
Yeah.
to move on.
I was pretty impatient because to be honest, Radon is kind of a point in the game in which once you defeat him, a lot of stuff is unlocked for you,
Hmm.
especially because I wanted to use his weapon. So there's an impatience to it's like I want to get my weapon now. I'm playing the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
but I'm also my stats are so low. Even though I was going into the game knowing I'm going to use this weapon, but my strength still isn't high enough to dual wield it. So I just
Hmm.
have it in my inventory now, and I'm like, one day I'll use you.
Yeah, I had a
Um,
similar experience when I was trying to get the giant crusher. Um, yeah, I was using the great sword before I had it, and then when I got it, I'm like, wait a minute, I literally can't hold this. All my work was for nothing. So then I respect, and now I'm like a little too squishy. But
Can
I can hold my giant crusher. That's what matters.
can I give a shout out to a weapon real quick? Weapon shout
Sure.
out. The
Weapon shout out.
Claymore in every Dark Souls and every Souls game is incredibly great. It has never let me down. I am using the Claymore right now as a surrogate weapon until I can use my proper weapon. I honestly, if I don't end up liking the moveset of the Star Scourged whatever sword, I might just use the
Hmm.
Claymore for the rest of the game. It is the most honest weapon of all time. It has a
Hmm.
jab, a poke, a swing, and its weapon art. You do a flip in the air, and you're like completely, seemingly immune to knockback, and you just do a
Hmm.
heavy overhead crushing attack, and it's just good. It is the Mario of weapons. It eventually has
Mm.
S strength scaling, I think, too, which is insane. It is a tried and true. You can just play the whole game with it and have a good time.
Hmm. So
Big
you're
shout
telling
outs.
me it's a great sword.
It's a great sword. Yes, it really is.
I was holding that one in from the moment you mentioned the claymore being good.
Honorable mention to the bastard sword. Similar concept, but
Hmm.
different. Oh man. No, Claymore is great. Claymore has always been good in any of the Souls games. It just has a good move set.
Hmm.
It will do. It's one of those things where it's like I think of weapons in the Souls games as having either really niche uses and kind of interesting playthroughs, but the I think the Claymore literally does pretty much one of each type of attack.
Hmm.
It's so you can do your overhead, you can do your slash, you can do your poke. It kind of just does everything pretty averagely. It doesn't have any crazy niche like gimmick, but it's just like overall pretty quick, pretty good, good reach, good weapon,
Hmm.
big ups.
Big poggies.
Yeah. Um, I think I was gonna get more into Elden Ring. We'll save it for next week when we're still talking about Elden Ring. I think we should
Yes.
probably move on.
Yes.
James, have you been playing any other games in your week besides Elden Ring?
Yeah, I played a few games of Dota for the first time in a few months. Uh,
How was that?
it went about how I expected. So I played, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. I played 5 games. I only won one of them. There was one game that I really thought I was gonna win, and then somebody on the enemy team abandoned too early, so the game didn't count.
Oh,
Oh man,
that's good.
yeah. Uh, it's been rough. Oh
So,
man.
did you have any enjoyment of Dota?
And I did enjoy the moment I won that one game, but I kind of felt like I won because the other team was uh they messed up really badly. It was they were very very far ahead for like the entire game, and then they just started throwing like 50 minutes into the game. and, then, and then we just hit their base for a solid 2 minutes and won. It was so dumb.
I see. The thing about Dota to me is just, especially Dota. It's like the games are like 50 minutes mostly, or I mean, sometimes you can get quicker games, but
Hmm.
it's so long, and the way you describe it is just like. But wait, did you have fun?
Yeah, I think there were points where I had fun.
Okay,
To be fair, to be
medium amount
fair,
of fun.
to be fair, it was a bad streak of games.
Yeah,
I don't
that
think I would consider it average.
that's just competitive games though.
Yeah.
Certain competitive. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
actually, that reminded me. I actually was playing Melee, Smash Brothers Melee this weekend. I was
Ooh.
playing that with some people. Yeah.
Were you using an emulator or?
I was using So we were using Slippy, which I don't know how familiar you are with the world of Melee and its current state online. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so your blank face tells me not that familiar.
Um. So it's actually really funny. Over the weekend, one of my friends wanted to play Melee, and
Hmm.
so he had me download Slippy. Actually,
Oh wow. Yeah, no, it's great. It's
yeah.
crazy how it's way better than Nintendo's official solutions for multiplayer for that series.
Yes, Nintendo multiplayer has always been notoriously great.
Yeah, no, it so Slippy is like for people who don't know who are listening, Slippy is a program that uses Dolphin, like a modified version of Dolphin, which is the GameCube Wii emulator,
Mm.
to basically add net play to Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee for GameCube, and it's crazy good. And it has rollback net play. It plays better than it's ever played, and it's great. But you can also play it locally. You can play it locally. So we were playing it locally. We actually
Mhm.
did have an actual Melee setup with a
Ooh.
CRT, but I think we were missing a cable or something. We were missing some cord, so we didn't use it. So we just
Mhm.
played on the emulator. But yes, um, playing Melee, it's fun. I play with people who are killers. They are like actually really good
Mhm.
and go to tournaments and stuff. So I have to hold my own against them, which I can do somewhat. And if they pick non mains, and I get destroyed sometimes, but I can kind of hold my own in that game.
They do a wee bit
Um,
of destroying.
but yeah, I forgot how fun it was to play Smash because I used to play Ultimate and Melee all the time because I would hang out with people in person, and then
Mhm.
COVID happened, and then no one like you couldn't play Ultimate online without being wanting to pull your hair out.
Yep.
So yeah,
Nintendo multiplayer.
yeah, it sucks because I haven't played Ultimate maybe since Steve for Minecraft came out
Oh
because
man.
I wanted to play like I would play Ultimate all the time when I was in person with people because it's a fun game to throw on and just there's so many characters that you can just mess around with a bunch of characters and have a lot of fun.
Mhm.
But you don't want to play that online. It's just so unfun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Understandable.
did you have any fondness for the Smash Brothers series?
um. Yeah. When I was younger, I played Brawl. It was one of the first games I got for my Wii. And then in college, I played the Wii U Smash my freshman year because somebody in my dorm had a Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Oh god, I forgot about
Yeah.
Smash 4. Smash
Yeah. I
4
was
Wii
a
U and Smash 4 3DS.
I was a Sonic one trick.
Oh god, it's even worse. You were a Sonic One Trick, so you were a one special one trick too.
Yes.
Just all your specials do the same exact thing.
Yeah, pretty much. I think my favorite part is that two of his specials are literally the same roll up, but one of them stops when you hit a target and one doesn't. It's literally the only difference.
Oh man, no Sonic. Yeah, like I think Brawl. So my gateway to Smash was I was waiting for Brawl to come out. Actually, I think the dentist I went to had an N64 with Smash 64 on it, which apparently is
Hmm.
a common thing because I think I was talking to Polkabird about it, and they said they also had a dentist that had Smash on like an
Oh man,
N64. Yeah, I don't know
again,
if there was some sort of dental incentive that they were giving them N64s for their waiting rooms, but
man, play Smash while you wait to have your
teeth
dentist smash your
smashed,
teeth.
basically.
Yeah.
Um, but I would play 64 there, and I was like mesmerized by Break the Targets and all those weird game modes and stuff. It was like this magical
Hmm.
game, and Brawl was coming out for the Wii, so I bought a used copy of Melee. I'm sure I spent $2 on it because every GameCube game was so cheap back then. Which, if you
Hmm.
look at now, you'll cry because everything is like so expensive.
Yeah.
Um, but I probably bought it for like $10. Played Melee for a little bit because the Brawl was coming out in like a week, and then I traded in Melee for Brawl and probably got like $2 back, and now it's like a
Oh
$60
man,
game, probably more.
that's definitely a trade.
Yeah, massive L. I did
Oh man.
eventually buy Brawl. I did eventually buy Melee again for like $40, so I actually got a pretty good
Hmm.
deal on it. But um, yeah, no, massive L there. But to be fair, as a kid, the single player mode, the subspace, I like played through that, like binged it. It was so good. It was so enjoyable to play as a kid
Hmm.
because it's basically a Kirby game. Um, so I don't know. I think everyone can look back and agree that they had fond memories of subspace, at least
Yep.
at a minimum with Brawl, because Brawl kind of sucks to play, to be honest. Like even going back to it, I went back to it kind of as like a jokey thing to play with friends, and it's just really you can't enjoy it. Like the actual, if you play
Yeah.
Melee or any other Smash game, you can't really enjoy it.
Yeah, especially since we all have that one friend who plays Meta Knight in Brawl. You know who you are. Don't
I
hide.
actually, actually, I think yeah, I think I do have people I know who did that even before it
Oh
was
man.
known that Meta Knight's crazy. Oh man. I guess I should
Uh,
let people know that I play Jigglypuff. I played Kirby as a kid because if you're a child or you've ever played Smash, you play Kirby because jumps, right?
mhm.
Um, and then at one point when I was playing Brawl, I picked up Jigglypuff because Jigglypuff has rest, which is down B. You can kill people basically, and I was just like so infatuated by that move because you basically can insta kill people that I just played that character, and I still play Puff. I play Puff in Melee, a little bit of Pikachu, not really that much, but I played Pikachu and Pichu in Ultimate,
Mhm.
and I played a lot of characters in Ultimate. Like I played Snake for a while. Uh, who else? I played King Dedede. King Dedede is so much fun in
Oh
Ultimate.
god, King
He is
DDD.
hilarious. I love with the Gordos. There are some really fun characters in that game. Like Piranha Plant is campy and stupid, but kind of really fun if you're playing with friends.
Mhm.
Oh man, yeah, Smash Ultimate's a ton of fun. Ton of fun as a maybe not as a competitive game personally for me, but as a game to hang out with friends and play. It's fun.
Mhm.
But where are you? Any more games besides Dota? Unless you want to talk about Dota more.
No, there's not much more to talk about.
I played an unfulfilling game of Dota. Moving
Oh
on.
man. Um, I'm checking. I don't know. I mean, nothing like new outside of that. I played a little bit of Apex Legends. I was fine. Currently, currently there is oh man, there's a whole it's a whole conversation. Like so, basically, they had a really good rank system, but it didn't have it was kind of bad for player retention among like lower levels, so they changed it. And then they changed the ranked map this season. Oh god, I don't even know where to start. So they changed the rank map this season because they have two splits per season, right? And the ranked map that they put it on ended up having this bug where it was something with like UI images bugging out, and it would just straight up crash your game in the middle of a ranked game. So they changed it to a different map, and the different map is technically a better map, but people are being a little silly. Like, I don't know if you've ever played a BR, but I basically I had this situation with my friends where we were getting pushed by this team for 4 minutes. Like they kept trying and failing, and they just kept pushing us for 4 minutes. Then we all just died. It was oh my god, it was miserable. But yeah, besides that, there were plenty of other good games. So it was it was a reasonable experience. I had fun. It wasn't all doom and gloom, but it was just very silly at times.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like with battle royales and like Apex, I feel like there's moment to moment parts of fun, and a game like Dota, it's like you're either having fun or you're like, I'm already, it's over. This is 40 minutes of
Mm,
just suck. And at least in League, you can kind of surrender, but also at the same time, people will surrender at any sign of. Oh, it's like, oh, they bought an
yeah,
item. I'm done. Surrender. We're
yeah.
down one kill. Surrender. So there's got to be some balance somewhere.
Hmm.
I'm just staring right now off at Hogwarts Legacy. Again,
Oh man.
do you have any interest in that game at all?
Not particularly.
Not a big hairy head.
Nah, not really. I think I watched all the movies except for the last one. I think.
Oh, which part of the last one? I guess the
The
last
second.
one.
I didn't watch the second part. Yeah, so the last.
So you had no closure. You don't know what
Nah,
happens.
I mean like I do because I've been spoiled, but like I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, I always liked the Harry Potter movies as a kid, and they would play them on TV all the time. So I had
Hmm.
seen all the movies, and then more recently, I had read all the books. just because I was like, man, I like the movies enough that I should give a listen to the audiobooks for all these books. I listened to the
Mhm.
Jim Dale audiobooks, by the way, for people who know, because there's the Stephen Fry version as well. But whatever, Jim Dale did a good job, and I enjoyed that. I mean, J.K. has a lot of issues. We'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
And I don't think there's a lot of people like boycotting Hogwarts Legacy and stuff like that. Um, I'm probably gonna still I'm gonna buy it and play it if the reviews are like this game functions. Also, oh my, the dog is going crazy. What the
Oh my
dog
god, yeah.
doing?
The dog is doing something.
I don't know if the dog Lilo, the greatest dog of all time, has seen snow because she's only like this is the dog aside, by the way. She's only
The
like a
dog is
year ish old,
Mhm.
so I think she might be freaking out at the sight of snow
Oh my god.
or just people like plowing, like loud noises or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. It should quiet down. Otherwise, we'll take a little break. But I think we're okay. But yeah, if Hogwarts Legacy is any good, I do want to check it out. Like I've enjoyed the Harry Potter video games. Like I played Harry Potter 2,
Mhm.
like on GameCube and PS2. Like that's a classic game. Um, Legacy, I feel like it's either going to suck like so bad or be like a huge hit. There's like no in between. It can't be really like a mediocre game.
Mhm.
And you know what? I hope it actually does well because it's kind of a cool universe despite all the issues going on outside of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, we got a lot of interruptions going
Yeah,
on.
Jesus.
Do you want to take a? Do
Got
you
the
need to take
phone
that?
ringing. I don't think so. It's probably not for me.
You know what? We'll barge through it. Okay. So by acknowledging the distractions, it's okay because I think if we don't acknowledge the distractions, people will think, oh, they didn't hear that. They're editing it out.
Yeah.
No, I intentionally chose to leave this in. I could have edited
Yes.
it out. I could clap right now and edit it out, but we're all here together. No, don't clap. No clapping. We're here together now. Okay. Now this is the
Oh
realest
man.
podcast you'll ever get.
Yes.
We don't edit here. We don't cut around. We're coming in
Yes.
raw,
None of the editing. We're
uncompressed.
lazy.
It's like 4 gigabytes of audio. You're not even gonna notice because you're
Oh
playing
my
on your car's
god.
radio. Um,
Oh man.
speaking of segues, I'm looking at gaming news right now, which
Mhm.
is this is like a not really a segment on this podcast. It kind of is. Um, I just don't have enough. I don't really follow enough gaming news to really be the pariah of gaming news. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think I just am kind of googling the word gaming news
Yeah.
and seeing
I,
what comes up and see if there's any headlines that are funny. Wait a minute. Okay, I did anoint first of all the dog going psycho. I don't know what's
mhm.
going on. But I did anoint James the question master, the lore master,
Yes.
for questions. If you have a question, email us at hyepodcast@gmail.com. That is hyepodcast@gmail.com. But anyway, I've made James the lore master for when
Yes.
we need other questions. I've got him to go look for questions for us, and he has found a banger.
Yes. It's called 20 video game trivia questions to stump avid gamers.
All right, I'm an avid gamer. I'd consider myself an avid gamer.
All right.
Try to stump me, my friend.
All right. Which planet in the solar system would be the
I'm
size
out.
of the Minecraft world if it were real?
What? All right, wait. The Minecraft world that's like generated.
Yeah,
Isn't the Minecraft world almost infinitely generated to a point?
I guess.
It's procedural. It's like chunk based, right? And then it's like procedurally generated to a point where if you get too far from spawn, it's the generation gets screwed up.
I love how the first thing it says is if Minecraft were a real place.
I don't know. That's a terrible question.
You want me to just give you
It's
the
not
answer?
Earth. It's probably not. It's probably like Venus or something. It's probably like Jupiter. Is
It's
it
the most
Venus?
it's the most forgettable planet. It's Neptune.
Neptune. It was one of the gas giants or whatever. Is Neptune a gas giant? I don't know. I didn't pay
I have
attention
no
in
clue.
school.
It has a link. Where does it take us for? Error establishing a database connection. Okay. Well, apparently
Yeah,
the link led to an article saying that Minecraft is bigger than Earth.
Yeah, but wait, how does it? How is it? This is like a
I don't know.
flawed idea of how
I
the
have
game
no
works.
idea.
It's
I have
not generating the
legitimately no
whole
idea.
world at once. It generates it per chunk, I think. And that's why you can keep traveling in one direction and it only generates I'm pretty sure the world doesn't exist until you see it and
Hmm.
then it stays and that's why your game can get pretty laggy or whatever. It loads in by chunk. I don't know. That was a terrible question. Continue. I
Yeah,
don't
some
I
some of
don't
these questions
accept
are
that.
ridiculous.
I
Okay.
don't accept the answer or the question. I don't acknowledge it.
All right. What is the best-selling video game console of all time? I think we've already done this one
It's
before.
PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah, it's PS2.
That's just yeah.
159 million units sold worldwide.
It's one of the first like commercially kind of cheap DVD players. Same thing with the
Yes.
PS3 with the Blu-ray.
All right. Which game was the first video game to be played in space?
I want to say like Tetris, but wait, let me think about it.
All right. Think.
I
Bonk.
I really do think it would be so if it's going to be played in space, they would probably have to bring it with them,
Mm-hmm.
but and it probably would be Tetris. Or wait, maybe it was way later cuz I'm trying to think isn't it really expensive to bring any amount of something on the spacecraft?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I want to say it's all right. Can you give me all right? I'm gonna guess Tetris, but don't tell me the answer unless I got it right. Uh, is it Tetris?
Yes, it is Tetris.
Okay.
So the full answer in 1993, a Russian astronaut played Tetris on his Game Boy on his way to the MIR space station during rare astronaut downtime, that is.
I would also like to point out we might have actually done these questions on another podcast with or without you. I don't know, but keep them
Hmm.
going. Maybe I'll notice. But yeah, no Tetris.
All right. Which band made more money from gaming royalties and Guitar Hero than any album sold?
Oh, which band? I mean, they had wait guitar. I was gonna say they had Beatles rock band. No, Guitar Hero. May I want to say like Dragon Force through the Fire and Flames because that's a popular Guitar Hero song, and maybe I'll say Dragon Force.
All right. The answer is Aerosmith.
Okay, that was
Uh,
I was thinking Aerosmith kind of, but I
mhm.
didn't think really they made more money than any other albums. What?
Yeah. So they licensed 29 of the game's songs, and it paid off, or it paid them millions due to the
Hmm.
game's success. Apparently,
I
that's
was
very vague, but sure.
I was thinking. I do think of Aerosmith when I think of Guitar Hero, but I also think of Through the Fire and Flames being like the song. I guess I'm not an avid gamer.
Man, oh, there's
I'm a
some weird
lamer.
there are some weird numbers questions.
Oh,
Roughly
good.
how many people play Roblox each month?
A lot. Let's see.
Many.
Like a lot. It's on mobile
Uh,
too.
I'll give you
How
a
many children exist in the world? And then like have that, and that's your answer.
I'll give you a leeway of 20 million. If you're
Oh,
within 20 million, I will say you're correct.
oh, so it's in the millions.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. So honestly, all right, here's what I'm gonna go Google how many children are on Earth right now. What are we getting here? How many children are roughly on Earth? Okay, can you give me the answer like between 0 to 14? What's the answer here? I guess this is all right. Maybe like 2 billion is the
2
answer.
billion.
No. That's how many in
Jesus.
total. So let's
Oh
take
my
2
god.
billion. Uh 2 billion. Let's do some math. We'll divide it by 4.
Some quick maths.
5 is it 500 million? Wait, is that per week? That's a lot. That's too
It's
much.
monthly.
Oh,
No, it is
monthly.
not. It is not 500 million.
No, wait. That
It
seems
is,
like it's too much.
do you want the answer?
Wait, is it lower or higher than 500 million?
It's not 500 million. That's all I'm going to tell
Is it
you.
lower or higher?
It is not
Is it
500
if it's
million.
higher then I don't understand. It can't be. It's
I'm
lower,
not
right?
I'm not giving you higher or lower. Just guess.
All right, 500 million. Wait, it's not 500 million though, right?
Final answer?
But you said it wasn't 500 million.
Oh my
Fine, I'll divide it by
god.
5.
Give me a final answer.
400 million.
What? That's not
400
that's not
million.
how
Final
math
answer,
works, but
baby.
no, it's not
400.
it's not 400 million. It was 150 million.
All right, I wasn't even okay. At least I was in the hundred of millions. I thought it was gonna be like 50 million. I would have
Oh
felt really
man.
bad. Yeah, no, 100. That's a lot. Jeez, that game. I'm happy that game is as popular as it still is because it was a game I played as a kid, and I'm glad people
Mhm.
are still enjoying it. Although their business practices are iffy, but whatever.
All right, I'm going to dodge the dumb hyper specific ones like how many games are in the world's largest video game collection? The answer is 20,139. Yes, somebody will definitely guess that.
All the games that
All the
exist.
games.
No, you know who that's for? It's for the guys who owns the collection. He's like, oh, I know, it's my collection.
God. All right, let's see. Okay, this one's just about the worst video game ever created. It's obviously ET. Um,
Yeah. So is it ET on there? Because that's stupid. Because
yeah,
that's like a yeah no. That's like the worst movie is The Room. It's like no, not really. There's way worse games that
yeah.
exist. But like I guess in a way, ET is considered a really bad game because it kind of crashed the video game market. I don't know if it was. It's not. I don't think it's solely responsible. Or like Atari, they had no quality control
Hmm.
back then, and games would cost anywhere between like you're like 50 or 70 or like $100, and you could be buying like the worst game of all time. There was no. It was
Yeah.
just the Wild West, and
Hmm.
when you had a big license like ET, and it just sucked. Like if no one was buying these games anymore. But
Hmm.
yeah, that's a little bit of gamer that is a bit of gamer facts that is probably passed on so much like a game of telephone that
Gamer
the facts are all
facts.
wrong and whatever.
All right. Which
Secondhand sources.
which early virtual reality device kind of shares its name with one of today's most popular smartphones?
Oh, we so I think we definitely did this quiz and or we did this quiz or this question was on another quiz because it's not a virtual boy. Um, it was some other thing that I didn't know the name of because it was some weird thing. Yeah,
Right. It's the iPhone.
iPhone.
But like
Yes,
I
yep.
as in like
I with
an
a yeah.
I. Wow.
And now the worst part is I don't know if I did these questions with you or with Polka Bird. So it's like I don't know if you've seen like I don't know. Keep
I
going. Just
haven't
keep
I don't
going.
think I've seen these ones
This is
before.
content. Just keep going. Keep it
Oh
rolling.
man. What is this question?
I love just I love this is the BuzzFeed corner. I kind of you know what we've done it enough that it's a segment. Our weird this is our like of the corner of the internet BuzzFeed slash trivia corner.
All right. About how many gamers are there in the U.S.? I will once again give you a 20 million leeway.
Um, all right. How many people are in the U.S. now? Divide it by four. I don't know where
Oh
I'm getting the
man.
four. Wait,
Yeah,
how
I
many?
don't know if that's how math works.
How many people are in the U.S.? There are 33 million. Oh, sorry, 331 million people. 331 million people divided by four. 82 million. You know what? For the divided by six for the fans. All right, 55 million. Final answer.
It is 183 million. You were not even close.
Damn, it was higher. I should have stuck with. Dude, dividing it by four gave me 82 million. That was actually not a bad answer.
Yeah, you were 100 million off.
Yeah, okay. It's not a bad. It's not bad.
All right.
Close
Like a
enough.
like a gaggle of geese or a business of badgers. There's a special name for a group of endermen in Minecraft. What is a group of endermen called?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say what is like a group of gamers called, and I was gonna say something funny like a shower or something a
Yeah,
stinky. Um, a group of Endermen. They have a name.
apparently.
Maybe it goes to a slender of Endermen, but
A
no, probably not.
slender of endermen.
Uh, does it rhyme?
No.
Is it okay? Does it have alliteration? Is it like it start with an E? So
No.
Enderman. Okay,
No.
that's all I needed to know. So it's gonna be something crazy like a gang. It's not gonna be like a gang of Endermen. Is it stupid?
Kind of.
Okay, is it a crew? Maybe a crew,
No,
a confederation of
no,
Endermen, a conglomerate of Endermen,
no,
an Ender unit patrol squad.
no.
Uh, will I ever be able to guess this in like a million years?
I mean, with some deductive reasoning, maybe, but you're not on the right path.
A squad of Endermen.
No,
Where are we dropping?
it's not
A
a
block
squad.
steal. Well, okay, let's wait. Let me break this down. What do Endermen do? They look. They avoid. If you look at them in the eye, they teleport. They take blocks. They're related to Slender Man. They're a slender in figure. They're from the end, I think, or part of that place of people. They have an Ender Pearl. What would a group of them be called? Endermen?
No,
That's a group of they're Endermen plural instead of Enderman.
no,
Uh, an entirety of Endermen. It doesn't rhyme. An incorporation of Endermen.
no,
LLC. An LLC.
no. You're
Okay.
getting farther.
Can you give me a word that the word rhymes with? Or actually, give me the
Uh,
letter. Give me the first letter.
H.
H. A hip hollering good time of Enderman. How an H for a group of them. A haven. No.
Nope.
Really H?
Yep. H.
This is a hab. No. What? And okay. Do I keep? Should I just keep guessing, or I don't even know?
I don't know. Do you want to keep guessing?
I honestly can't think. Yeah, go. Just tell me. Just tell me it.
All right. It's called a haunting of Endermen.
That's stupid. Wouldn't that be better for the
It is,
phantoms or whatever that exist?
yeah, it is very
A
stupid.
haunting of Endermen.
I don't even know
Wow.
if this is real. I'm
I
not
think
gonna
I
lie.
listed like 15 better things they could be called.
I mean, so this was made by ID Tech, so like I would have to assume it's reputable, but
More like IDK tech. That's a little bit of a joke here. We have fun here.
it doesn't sound real.
Yeah, was there a source on that? Did
No,
Mojang
there's
tweet
no
that between
source.
his other spicy tweets? Did he tweet out what it's called?
There is no source.
Oh, shows to Notch. Man, I don't remember exactly why people are not liking him, but I think he just said spicy things. I don't remember what he said. Probably things not worth
Yeah,
looking up.
yeah, probably. All right, wait. I need
Um,
to.
a haunting of Enderman.
What
That's
the hell? Okay, you'd never guess this one actually. Who was the
give it to me.
youngest? Who was the youngest esports millionaire? How old were they when they won?
I want to say like 12 or 13. If they're the youngest, 13 or 12. 13. 12 or 13, that's my range. 12 to 13.
Well, no.
Wait. Sorry, what game did they play? Can you tell me the game they played? That might help me determine it better.
I guess Fortnite. Yeah.
Oh, so okay, then they're 8.
God,
Is that right?
no.
Younger?
8. Not
they're
younger.
they're from the womb.
Obviously, they were older than 8 years old.
Womb to tomb. They could have been 8 and 1.
You think they're sending 8-year-olds to
Yes.
LAN?
They would win. They could win. Why couldn't an 8-year-old win? They have the most free time to
Their
be
brain
playing
is
Fortnite.
literally not developed enough.
That'll give you an advantage in Fortnite.
They don't even know their multiplication tables.
Who needs math to play Fortnite? All they know is chug jug, shoot they gun, and lie. That's all they need to
Oh
know.
my god.
So they're older than 16.
No.
You made it sound like, okay, is it going to be like 15, 14, like any of those ranges?
They are 15.
15. Okay.
Or they
Yeah,
were
so
15.
you made it all sound like, oh yeah, so young. 15. That's not that shocking to me.
I mean, I don't know. I just worded it how the question was worded.
Well, the question's bad. Okay?
Possibly, yes.
Actually, you know what? It isn't actually. That was actually an okay question. I'm sorry, the quiz. Your other questions were so bad. I'm
Sorry,
raging.
the quiz.
I'm raging at questions that were actually okay. That's like a not bad question.
All right, do you want the full answer?
Sure.
Apparently, it was Jaden Ashman
Okay, I think I heard about this.
placed second at the Fortnite World Cup. He was
Wait, they didn't even win.
Yeah, he was British.
Wait a minute. I thought you said winner.
No. It was the youngest esports millionaire.
Maybe they do something different.
Wait. Actually, it says how old were they when they won? What?
Wait a minute. Maybe they do
No
something a
way.
little different across the pond. But
No
in this
way.
country, winning means coming in first place.
What?
Okay,
Second
Bucko.
place, 1.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay, this one's kind of dumb. I'm not gonna ask that.
They're all kind of dumb.
It was which football coach has a popular video game
John
named
Madden.
after him?
John Madden.
Of course, it's
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
literally like the
we
only,
can't play anymore.
the only football video game.
We're gonna get content edited. We can't do any more of that theme.
All right, who invented the video game?
Jonathan Video Game.
No.
All right, technically, maybe Tennis for Two, which was like a game created on like one of those really old smart computer, or like it was one of those games that was created on a computer that was one of those room sized computers, basically, that had like a tiny like. I think it was like a radar thing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically like a Pong style game.
Well, it's a guy.
Oh, they're naming the guy. I don't know
Yeah.
the guy. John Video Game. Anthony Magnavox. I don't know.
Apparently, it was William Higginbotham.
William Higginbottom. What was the game? Was it anything that I was talking about?
Probably not. It doesn't even say the. Oh, it was a very simple tennis game. Okay.
Tennis for Two, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it was. So I was technically right.
It doesn't say tennis for two.
It says it.
But,
I'm looking at it right now. William Higginbottom. Tennis for Two. I googled it. Google it.
Apparently, he was a physicist, and he invented it in October 1958.
I'm looking. Yeah, I'm literally looking at it right now. It was him.
Damn.
I was right about the game. Okay.
All
Where's
right.
my gamer trophy? I want to win. I want to be the youngest trivia millionaire.
Oh,
second
God.
place winner.
Oh no.
I don't know. I'm actually getting heated about this. I'm probably peeking the microphone.
All right.
so sorry.
Since the rest of these are dumb, one more.
Why do you just choose to skip them?
One of them was what was the original intent of The Sims? Like what?
To cause, in a word, chaos.
That's what happened. It was a city builder and architectural simulator.
I guess, yes, Sims. Okay, I mean, you're right to kind of skip them, but you're ruining the sanctity of the quiz by just skipping questions.
God. All right. How many hours was the longest Mario Kart marathon according to the Guinness Book of World Records?
That's so stupid.
Exactly.
I don't know. Did
But
the
it's
game
the last
cap out
question.
at like 99999 whatever? Because,
No.
What does that mean? Wait, did they keep playing? Was it one round? Or did they just keep playing it? Because that could go on forever.
I don't know. It just says the longest marathon. They're not
Did
specific.
they swap in people? Like, there's no context for this question.
I don't know.
72 hours.
Your first one was closer. It was 40 hours.
40 hours. Okay, yeah. All right. They just played it. That's the exact same thing as how long can you stay awake.
All right, that's the last question. We are not going to let this podcast go 40 hours, though.
No, we will if we have to. I really genuinely hated that.
Yeah, that was agonizing.
But I have a question for you.
Oh boy.
I had a question for you somewhere. Oh yeah. The top video. We want to hear the top 10 video games everyone needs to play at least once.
Sure.
By Screen Rant.
Yes, I love Screen Rant.
All right, this was as recent as God of War Ragnarok. So let me get through the list. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Number 1.
Man.
Well, number 10, I guess. Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Do you agree or disagree?
Sure.
I would agree with that too. Actually,
Yeah.
That game's pretty good. Or any of them. Any of the Elder Scrolls games. It's probably worth playing at least one. Batman Arkham City. Hot take. Number 9 though. Coming in hot.
I think that's a very good game.
It's not a bad game. I'm just saying, like, number 9 if you only have 10 games to ever play, is that really up there?
I mean, I guess my thing is like it's the melee combat systems in lots of superhero games are essentially based off of that, and even in lots of like other kinds of games.
I mean, that's true. It was.
I would say it was pretty inspirational.
Style. I agree. I don't know if it's whatever. Anyway, move quick. Rapid fire. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That game is really good.
I didn't finish it, but yeah, sure. I hear it's very good.
That game is very good. Breath of the Wild. Man, this guy likes open world games.
Yeah, sure. I
Um,
didn't play that.
hot take: the game is really good. Probably don't need to play it, to be honest. I'm assuming. I'm assuming the sequel will be so much better that people will say just play the sequel or like go back to it. That's my take on that. I bet the sequel will be really good. BioShock. I guess
Yeah, I agree with that.
it's a good game, but it's weird because like you have these like really like 300-hour open world games, and then kind of a quick first person shooter. That's like pretty good.
Hmm.
BioShock, interesting. Chrono Trigger,
Never played it.
It's a classic JRPG. Kind of a weird. Yeah, it's a good game. It's a really good game. I haven't beaten it, but really good. Mass Effect Trilogy. I have not played any of those yet. I'm going to. I have them. Yay or nay?
Uh, Played Mass Effect
Also,
2.
he cheated. He put 3 games on one spot.
What the hell?
I guess technically it's one game, the trilogy, whatever. Ocarina of Time, extremely overrated. Very influential, but extremely overrated in terms of playing today.
Mm,
Although, actually, they said
yeah.
the 3DS port, which is, yeah, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I feel
Yay or
like
nay, James? Yay or nay?
I I
The
didn't
format
play.
is yay or nay. Yay or
Didn't
nay.
play.
Rapid fire, quickly.
Yay, sure. I mean,
Yay, yay.
I feel like it's gonna be more controversial what isn't here than what is. But like, I don't know. I don't have this list off the top of my head.
Mario World, Mario World, Mario World. Go, go, go,
Sure,
go, go.
yay,
Yes. Portal 1 and 2.
yay.
That's their number one game. I mean, Portal 1 and 2 they were really good, but really the number
Yeah,
one game. Weird.
yeah. I don't know. Does the order matter?
I don't know. What's the game? All right, give me the top 10 games no one should ever play right now. Rapid fire.
Um, I don't know. I
There's no
don't.
time, James. Quick.
Uh,
Name any game. Name a video game for
uh,
$100,000 right now.
Borderlands.
Borderlands. All right. Bye, everyone. Oh, wait a minute. No, don't. I'm Matt, aka Matt Fun Dude on Twitch, Twitter, and whatever. James,
Yes,
you.
I'm James, aka James 04E on the things.
Yeah. Some people have cold opens. We have cold closes. Goodbye.
Yes.